Hey everybody, it's Christy here from Hidden Compass Travel. And I said on my introductory video that I wanted to do videos about tips and tricks for traveling and also do spotlights. Well, today I thought I would start with the tips, and it is about making yourself comfortable or getting through that airline flight. Um, I have several things here on my desk in front of me that I use when I travel. Sometimes it's dependent on the length of the flight, if it's a long haul flight or if it's just a 2 or 3 hour flight. That's one thing. And I'm probably going to miss something, or you're going to think, I don't need this. It's totally fine. These are just things I like that I have used, I have bought over the years. So I'm going to start with a few things that I think you need for a flight, no matter if it's, 1 hour long or 15 hours long. I've done both flights like that. And I'm going to be real honest with you. I don't like to fly at all. Some of you are like, but you travel a lot. Yep, I do. I hate it. I hate getting on the plane. Um, my doctor and I have a little agreement, and she gives me something to get me through those flights because I am such a bad flyer. I hate the altitude and I'm not charged. So there's that. So, okay, so if you have ever been on a plane, then you know that the air is very dry. So one of my favorite things to travel, no matter where I go, is chapstick. Um, Y'all, your lips get chapped really easily on a plane, especially the longer you're on the flight. So I absolutely recommend bringing some sort of chapstick. Another thing is I do my best not to get out of my seat because, again, I don't like to fly. But, occasionally nature calls, you have to go to the bathroom and that sort of a thing. And you wash your hands. Please wash your hands. But sometimes when you get back, your hands are, they're just really dry. So I like to bring some sort of lotion. Travel size, remember there are requirements on how much of a liquid you can bring through security. And y'all, you don't want to have to buy something like this at the airport because it's going to cost you so much more. And I will talk about going through security on another date, but just remember under 3 ounces or 100 milliliters. So that this is just the one I have bought. Another thing that happens when you fly, sometimes your mouth gets dry, maybe your ears are stopping up, maybe you're with a child or someone who acts like a child beside you and their ears are stopping up. Um, is great for the takeoff and the landing if you are prone to ear pressure, especially if you're traveling with an infant, obviously, or a very small child. They can't chew gum. For an infant, I recommend we did this with our daughter when she was a baby. Uh, a bottle or a sippy cup, something they can suck on. It is very helpful. Another thing is chewing ice, believe it or not. Another thing for that dry mouth, mints. Whether you bring the Starlight mints or, little icebreakers, whatever like that. But I think these are great things. Plus, if you do happen to fall asleep on your flight, you might want to take this when you wake up, be conscious of that breath, right? So, another thing I mentioned the gum, obviously, for air pressure, but if you have clogged ears, maybe you have been recovering from an ear infection, sinus infection, Sudafed, or in my case, the Elprin Sudafed. Take this, before the plane takes off, not as you're taking off. Um, this is really good for those of you who, if air pressure is really a problem. Now, some of you may do something else, but these are the ones that we use in our family that have been tried and true. Another thing I always bring on a flight, actually, I bring this on every trip I take on, is the water bottle. And if you can see this at all, it is pretty rough looking because I've had this for years and it's been in multiple locations in the United States, overseas, on planes. Now, you can't bring liquid through security, um, but you can always buy water, right? Why would I buy water? This is great for the airplane. Fill it up before you go. And then, after you've gotten through security, of course, and just keep it there at your seat. That way, if you want water, you're not having to flag down a flight attendant to get water for you. Also, just in general, traveling, bring a water bottle. I would love to tell you that I am a super green, eco-conscious person. I'm not, but water bottles, inherently they're not good for the planet. This is great. And more travel companies, groups, wherever you're going, they are not giving water bottles anymore. They are telling you, please bring a refillable because we're not giving plastic water bottles. So this is a good idea to own. I like the plastic one. My husband has a metal one. It's just whatever your preference is. If you're going to be traveling with a backpack, and I'll do another segment on bags a different day, try and get a water bottle that's going to fit into a backpack or possibly ladies, so remember, carrying a purse, whatever, it's just easier. So those just a couple of things I'll bring every flight, whether it's a short flight or a long flight. Now, oh, another thing to bring, a pen. I know that sounds silly. A pen, right? Sometimes in that seat pocket, there could be a magazine and with a crossword puzzle, and you want to do that, or you've brought a crossword puzzle book or word search or something, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Pen is very handy. So they're not doing it as often, I've noticed, on international flights, but it used to be as you were getting close to your descent to another country, you had to fill out a form. And inevitably, everybody's on the plane go, "Well, anybody got a pen? I need a pen." So just bring a pen, stick it in that bag, stick it in, I wouldn't put it in your pocket because ouch, but bring a pen with you. Now, on the flight itself, when you're up there and you're like, I'm bored, right? As I've already said, I take a little medicinal help for flying. But on short flights, you're like, maybe not, maybe it's a day flight, you're not going to sleep, you need something to do. So I bring a Kindle when I fly. I love to read. I love to read on vacation at night when I have time. And if you can tell behind me, I have bookcases slammed full of books. Well, I can read a lot and I can read quickly. And so I was in Peru a couple of years ago, and I think I ended up reading like 4 books. 4 books. Number one, they're heavy, they take up a lot of space in your suitcase. This is your friend for travel. It's very lightweight. It fits in a bag very easily. It holds a really long charge. So I recommend a Kindle or some other e-reader device. I like to have a case because I like the feel of a personal like real books, but this is what I like. Another thing is, we typically do travel with a laptop, but it's not for the plane. It's just, they can be cumbersome to take out and put on that little bitty tray in front of you. Your cell phone, right? This is also something to use on your flight if you want to, play games. That's what I want to do. That sort of thing. Now, planes typically do have Wi-Fi that you can purchase. It's not always free or it's a very basic. So you have to decide if it's not going to be included as a freebie, what are you going to do on your phone? So download that favorite television show or movie. That's what my husband likes to do. And then if you don't have Wi-Fi, at least it's on your phone. It's ready to go. You can buy stands, or I know a lot of people do the little pop out things on the back of your phone, and you can just put it right there in front of you on your tray table and watch it. The other thing is you don't want your phone to lose charge. If you're on a 1 hour flight, 2 hour flight, whatever. If you're on a long haul, 10 hours, 9 hours or more, you're going to want to plug your phone in, right? Now, most flight planes, they have a charging. This is, y'all, I'm not tech savvy, but this is the USB-C or A, I don't know. Most planes have one or the other, not typically both, one or the other. So when we travel, we typically have both kinds of cables, this kind and the wider kind. That way I can plug in my phone no matter what, plane I'm on. Every airline has their own little quirks, especially when you start going into those international. Some planes, not many, but some planes actually have, sockets where you can plug in a block, that sort of a thing. Don't count on that, right? This is going to be your best bet. Okay. So you're going to possibly want something to watch, or maybe that, 6-year-old beside you that you want to keep occupied for the next 2 or 3 hours. The next thing would be headphones. Now, it used to be planes always gave you headphones. Then it was, we'll sell you headphones. Now it's, you may or may not. I recommend you bring your own. You bring whatever it is you like. My husband has the big noise canceling headphones. They are, like they can plug in like this. Most headphone jacks on a plane are that little thing, right? Most are like this. And this does not fit into my cell phone. My cell phone does not have a jack like that. So I have a converter that I actually keep in my travel kit because I never use headphones except when I'm flying. I'm just not that person. But I have a converter that I can plug, this in there, and then this would go into my phone. Okay. And I'm really boring on headphones. I have these little, plug-in earbuds because again, I never use earbuds. But these just stay in. We have it our it's a travel suitcase. It doesn't actually go on flights. It just holds all our stuff like this that I'm showing you that I only use for flights. So headphones. Same thing goes for if you're traveling with a small child. Y'all, planes are loud, but they're not soundproof, meaning you're going to hear what's going in front of you and behind you, respectful of the people around you. Nobody wants to hear you watching, a slasher film. Okay, I'm leaning out like a slasher movie. And nobody probably wants to hear me watching Frasier because that's the show I love. Maybe, but probably not. And honestly, if you're traveling long haul and you have the entertainment TV, built into the seat in front of you, which most long haul planes do, not all, but most, you're gonna have to plug in something to listen to that. They don't play without, buds or headphones. Okay, so be prepared for, if you want to hear anything with sound on the plane, to have your own listening device. Planes might provide them on long haul planes. Sometimes they do. They may not be ones you like. I have tiny little ear holes. So I'm very particular on what I use. So think of that ahead of time, what kind of ears you are, if you're picky, that sort of thing. Now, let's talk about for those of you who are like me and maybe you're going to sleep on that plane because you took something. Um, so I have, isn't this so cute? I took an Air Tahiti Nui plane a few years ago when we went to French Polynesia, and we had premium economy. We booked up a little bit. And they actually gave everybody this little handy dandy thing filled with some, I think there was chapstick in it and like some lotion and some things like that. But now this automatically, I've kept it, even though it's just a little felt bag, but I've just kept it. And whenever I fly, it has that, my earphones and the little connector thingy. But it also has a sleep mask. So this was also Air Tahiti, so there you go, I kept that. I have a bigger one that I used to travel with, but this one's obviously small and compact, and it just doesn't take up as much room. That's why I like that. Space on an airplane is so, think when you're doing that. I like to sleep, and I like it to be dark if I can. So I use an eye mask. So that is something to consider if you want to try it. Another thing, and this is also from Air Tahiti, and these are mine, so I'll share 'em. You have little earbuds or earplugs. These are just the like super squishy ones, that you can just squish and stick in there. Unless you have noise canceling, nothing is going to be 100% quiet on an airplane. It's just not. Airplanes are very noisy because, engines, which we want to hear, right? Um, but I like these again when I'm trying to sleep. All right. So that's another thing. Now, I have a neck pillow. I have two that I'm going to show you. The one I like, the one my husband likes. So, don't airplanes give pillows anymore? Not always. Um, Sometimes, again, on a long haul, no matter where you sit, you will get that little pillow about yay big, right? And that squishes to that flap. And if that's what works for you, that's great. I've used them before. It's a lot of, switch them, get them just how I want them. But I have found one I personally love. It's called the Term. TTR pillow. Now, this different. And if you are prone to claustrophobia or you don't like anything wrapped around your neck like a scarf, you may not like this. But so if you notice, if you can see, it kind of curves here. This is kind of it's a plastic piece in here that is squishy. So you put it, on the side of your neck, kind of like that. And then you take, and I'm sorry, this is not pretty looking. Then you take this scarf thing, okay, that has Velcro. And if you're like me, you have long hair, it's going to go, the Velcro's there. It's going to get stuck. But you push it like that, and then there you go. Push it like this. And it gives me a good bouncy support that I like. And then if I'm like, well, I need to move to the other side, we just do this. Okay. Now, this little plastic piece, first of all, this is warm. Now, airplanes, I get cold. So for me, this is great because I don't like to be cold. This little plastic piece that you can kind of see, you can remove it and you can wash this when you get home, which I always do because planes, y'all, if you didn't realize this, they don't get cleaned, like deep cleaned on a regular basis. Always keep this stuff. Now, my husband hates that thing. So he has a traditional neck pillow. This is kind of a velvety, fake velvet. And with the air pillow inside here is inflatable, so you have to blow it up. So if you're like me and you are asthmatic and you don't have a lot of lung capacity, this may not be your friend. You may want to buy. You can buy these already filled with like, like I think like bean bags. But one of the best things about this, if you're okay with the air, is that obviously I have not blown this yet. You can switch and do how you want. Obviously, this takes up a lot less space in your carry-on, purse, suit, bag, whatever you're using. So I do recommend neck pillows for long haul travel. Do not bring this on, what I consider a couple of hours flight. I really only bring this for the long haul flights. Now, a couple of other things. It can get chilly on a plane, and maybe you brought your jacket, maybe you didn't. One of my friends years ago knew that we traveled, and she bought this for me, and I think it came from Container Store. I don't know if they still sell it. It's a cool blanket. It's not very thick. It comes in its own little pouch, and I use this because I do get cold on planes. Again, sometimes you will get a blanket on a plane, sometimes you won't. Well, excuse me, it's just different. But I always travel with this again on a long haul, not a short haul. But I will tell you, I have used this not just on a plane. We were in Peru a couple years ago. I looked into going into the Amazon. Y'all don't get me wrong, it's gorgeous. I'm just not a campy girl. I'm what you call outsidey. Sit around my fire pit and drink wine, not trample through the Amazon rainforest, which I did do and I did cry. So, but anyway, it was cold because we slept in screened in porches. And I just I added this to my little, layer of blankets. So I do like traveling with a blanket. Another thing you can bring, I bought this in Italy like a long time ago. This is a Palomino scarf. So it's really, it's really long. This also is nice, can keep you warm. Another thing this is good for, it's going to sound mean, very sensitive nose, meaning smells really bother me. And if you are like that, you know what I mean. There are times you are in the vicinity of a person who doesn't smell that great. So you can take this and just kind of, you know, hide your nose a little bit, y'all. You got to do what you got to do, right? So now, earlier I mentioned cleanliness and planes not being that clean. I'd love to tell you that they are spotlessly cleaned in between the people that just got off in between you getting on. But the reality is, if you're doing a short flight, turnaround sometimes is less than an hour. Yeah, no, they're not. They're just not that clean. And I'm not saying that to scare you, just to be quite honest with you. So, what are some things you can do? Some people do travel with wet wipes. If you have a small child or like Clorox wipes, if you have a small child and they're going to eat things like Cheerios, y'all, my child is almost 23, so I forget what we traveled with. And you want to put your food on that table. You're gonna wanna clean it off first. So, wet wipes, Clorox wipes, that sort of a thing. Another thing, is that you may wanna use on a plane. I read this when I travel anyway, is just, hand sanitizer, just a little extra something, something. Now, something I just bought this year, I was in Europe last year, and I saw this and I thought, I'm going to get it. It's called the airplane buckets. Right. By the way, nobody's paying me to do any of these. I'm just showing you what I like. And if you own any of these products and you know, if you want to give me something free, I will never say them free, right? Okay. Anyway, now, they tell you, so if you travel, sometimes the tray tables are one big square. Sometimes they fold in half. And this is better for the big square. I had the foldy kind. It's work, y'all. I still make it work. So I'm going to say that. But anyway, it slips over. It's all stretchy. So it can be washed because I washed it. So I said clean. It stretches over. And then this hangs down. And if you notice, there's a pocket, there's a pocket, there's a big pocket. So I don't have a tray table to demonstrate this, but I was able to, put my Kindle in there, put my cell phone in there, And the great thing is because my chapstick, whatever. The great thing is when I left, I didn't have to worry that I forgot anything in the seat back pocket because I could put everything in this. So, number one, it helped me not forget anything. It happens. Number two, I knew it was all clean because this is mine. I bought it from home. Y'all, I just caution you when you're on a plane and you get ready to put something in that seat back pocket. You don't know who sat there before you. It could have been a lady with a baby who changed a dirty diaper and put it in that seat back pocket waiting until she got off the plane to throw it away. You see what I'm saying here? So just keeping that in mind, okay? Another thing is if you are a little germophobe, I'm not, the mask, right? If you are concerned, the air on an airplane is continually being circulated. That's one of the reasons it is so dry. But it is being cleaned to an extent. But if you are truly worried about germs, ask. They do what they do. But I am going to say this. If you are sick, please wear a mask. Oh my Lord, put it on. For people fight just wear your mask, right? I don't want to get sick. I get sick on vacation all the time because of other people. It's very frustrating. I mean, it is what it is. But I don't wear a mask on a plane. Y'all, I've actually never got sick on an airplane. My longest flight was about 17 hours. Um, what am I saying? Just too long. Just too long. Anyway, but there's that as always a backup. We typically nowadays do carry a mask when we travel. Ever since COVID, there was a lot of mask protocols worldwide. So we always bring a couple. I haven't had to use them on the last couple of trips I've taken just to be safe. Another thing I love to travel with, if you have long hair, ladies, gentlemen, whomever, scrunchie, hair tie, y'all, this can get in the way. I like to just pull my hair back. Um, so that is what I wanted to show you today. So one last thing before I finish this video is this. If you are traveling with anything like this and you're going to want it at your seat, pack them in such a way that you can get to them extremely easily. Meaning, don't put them in a suitcase and think, just open my suitcase in my room. That's where I said, everybody on the plane will hate you. Everybody will hate you. So either put it in, I travel with a purse or a backpack, put it in those things. We have a little bag we call a rolly. Again, I'll do a baggage video a different day, but put it in that. I can just put it in my seat, pull out I keep what I need right on the top, just yank it out real quick, zip it up, throw it up there. But don't be that person who holds up, the 100 to 500 people trying to get on a plane because, oops, you forgot something in your bag, in your suitcase. The other thing is, I didn't talk about this, but any medicine, if you are taking a long haul flight, especially if you're going from the United States overseas, you're typically flying at night, possibly enough where you need to take night medicine and morning medicine. Make sure you have that where you can get that easily as well. I have that. situation, so I make sure I keep it with me where I can get to it. So, if you have any tips or tricks on things that keep you comfy on a plane that I didn't mention, maybe there's a different, product that you like, feel free to comment on this video or on my Facebook page if you like. And while I'm at it, don't forget to like and follow my Facebook page, Hidden Compass Travel. You can also follow me right here on YouTube. I'll probably only make one video a week. Next week, I do hope to spotlight a location. So, anyway, if you've stuck with me for this long, thank you. Goodbye. Have a great day and happy travels to everybody.